Bienvenidos to Humans in Accounting, the podcast where we pause the AI buzz for a minute and focus on the real humans behind the numbers. We chat with founders and leaders to hear their journey, what drives them, and the important things in life. Because behind every balance sheet, there's a story worth telling. Humans in Accounting is brought to you by South Offices. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Humans in Accounting, where leaders share their story behind the spreadsheets. As you should know by now, because we made a few episodes already, I'm Alex Roman, I'm your host, and this episode is sponsored by South Offices, connecting accounting talent across borders. Today's guest, I'm really happy just to introduce Yuri Kapilovich, managing partner at Kapilovich and Associates, host at the Fun CPA podcast. And happy to have you, Yuri. Thanks for joining here in Humans in Accounting.
Yeah, thanks a lot for having me. It's been great. I appreciate you reaching out to. I'm happy to be here.
It's great. The truth is that we never met personally. Somehow, I'm pretty sure that I might have seen probably one or two videos or a few pictures that you were with people that I know, with friends of mine, and I saw the hashtag the Fun CPA. Most likely, I might have sent you a LinkedIn invite, and the other one was it a few weeks ago. I just saw a post. Oh, was it the one that you won the $1,000?
Oh yeah, last week. Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw that one, and I said, "Hey, I just want to reach out," so I did. And we talked for a few minutes, and well, now we are here recording this episode of Humans in Accounting. Thank you so much for joining. I'm happy that we're doing this episode together.
Yeah, I'm glad. It's a small world in the social media space, so always good to connect with people.
It is. Yuri, let's start. Tell us, I also saw an episode you made with Randy. You asked him, and I'll ask you the same question. If you can introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your background, just do it under a minute.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair to flip it back on me. Yeah, Yuri Kapilovich. I been in this profession now for a little bit over 15 years. Big firms before going out on my own. Always struggled with the way that people did things at the big firms, always butted heads with the leaders. Ended up just going out on my own and kind of moving through the journey of started posting as soon as I left the big firms. I started going on the bus to the city, started posting on LinkedIn. And to be honest, I think a lot of it was to fill this void and this gap of, being around people all the time. And then having another outlet to speak to other people and having interaction. And so LinkedIn kind of forced that. But, fast forward that, and I'm just about to close in on 20,000 followers, which is pretty crazy. And and out of all the posting came the rise of the Fun CPA networking events, the Fun CPA podcast, being asked to speak at places. I mean, it's crazy. That's that. And I also run a firm that's about to hit 300,000 in gross revenue. So all in, that's kind of my journey. Hopefully, I think I did it in less than a minute.
It's like 70 seconds. It's only 10 seconds more. So it was
close enough.
Pretty good, pretty impressive. I know the answer for this question, but I'm going to ask you, maybe we have people in Humans in Accounting who they're driving their car watching this episode. For some reason, they missed out on you and they don't know you. How did the Fun CPA started? Tell us that story.
Yeah. That story I've repeated many times, and it's funny.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because everything that I do and have done so far has just never been intentional. Nothing has ever been planned. And I didn't plan to be the Fun CPA. I didn't plan to be any of this stuff. It just kind of happened naturally through posting. But the Fun CPA, I was posting, I was I'd ride my bike and make some posts. And eventually one of the days, I wrote the Fun CPA as a hashtag. And then it kind of stuck with me. I was like, this is cool. And I kept doing it. And then eventually I went to this network. It was like a conference, like a little show thing for rich people with rich people toys, helicopters, private jets, all this kind of stuff. And I had my own booth there. So I asked them to have a booth and they said yes. So I was like, okay. So it was the Fun CPA booth. and I made a sign. My friend designed it for me. And people just walked up to me, but they couldn't process that it said the Fun CPA. Like that's how like people just didn't understand what that was. And so it was really cool, and then once I saw that, I was like, oh, people don't understand it. I'm onto something here whenever people don't comprehend that. So that's where it started. And so then I just kept going with it. And here we are now.
That's incredible, incredible. I want to go back to you said you had experience working in a few firms. Was there like any specific point in your career or having that experience working in other firms where you said, hey, hold on, I think that now it's the exact timing because this has happened to me and I realized that I don't know, I just need just to do this by myself or not really, and this is not the best question ever.
Yeah. No. It's a really good question. And it's interesting because I've always wanted to have my own firm, but I've always also talked myself out of it. So, I would always say it would always be an excuse. And a lot of times it was obviously a rightful excuse. Like, well, my son was born. And then, like right around the time my son was born, I was debating going out on my own. But then I was like, oh, well, he's born and, we need health insurance and so on and so forth. Fast forward 3 years after that, my son was born in 2018. And then 2021 is when I opened my own firm. But the only reason I opened it was because one of my kind of friends at the time wanted to sell off a part of his business to me, $100,000 worth of business. And so I said, all right, well, if that's what I'm doing, I'm going to get 100,000. That's a pretty good place to start. So that's why I quit. But we didn't have an agreement signed or anything like that. He got sued. And then that deal fell apart, and I didn't have anything. And the question was, do I go back and say, never mind, I'm not going to quit. I'm just going to, stay. Or at that point, the wheels were already in motion. So I had to figure it out. But that's the story of so conceptually, yeah, there was something that drove me to do it, but it wasn't
Right.
like, it was just the fact that I would have had this opportunity to have $100,000 worth of work. I was like, great. I said, let's go. But then that fell apart, but I still stuck through it.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, there was something that happened. Okay, perfect. So it was not that bad of a question.
No, it was a good question.
I want to just ask you this now, and then I have like many other questions that I have to do, but I don't know how familiar you are with the Humans in Accounting. Humans in Accounting, this is the podcast that I've started last year. I thought it was a good idea just to do it because we can. I just need a
Yeah.
mic, the camera, and I'm all set. I'm passionate about a few things. I'm passionate about humor. I'm passionate about food. I'll ask you a direct question that I'm asking all my guests. What's your favorite food?
My favorite food, it might actually surprise you. It's actually ceviche.
Really?
Yes, I knew you were. Yeah, I am a very big fan of ceviche and also lomo saltado. So,
It's
man, it is some good stuff. Yeah, really good ceviche. I'm a sucker for, and every once in a while, I find a spot harder to find in New Jersey. But when I used to live in Miami, I used to live in Florida. And when I used to live there was more. It was really, really good Latin American influence there, obviously, and a big fan.
the ceviche. I don't know. I might have like already. First, ceviche is something that I had this last salmon ceviche. That's how you say it in English, right?
Yeah,
Ceviche.
ceviche.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I'm just pronouncing it in Spanish. I had really good ceviche here. It was salmon, and I was gonna tell you or ask you something else. Have you ever been to Peru?
I have not. I would love to go there and have the traditional, authentic version,
Yeah,
of both of those, the lomo saltado and the ceviche.
and I need just to ask you also a couple of things. First, you're the first guest who said ceviche, so now it's gonna be somewhere in this ranking that I'm putting together. So at least it's gonna have one vote. Then I remember when I reached out, I sent you a few messages and LinkedIn, and I don't know, like when I was just saying bye, I usually say abrazo, that's like a
Yeah.
hug or like
Yeah.
a typical Argentinian thing to say. And you just replied in Spanish and said, hey, he's really fast, like translating. But no, you
I
tell
speak.
me, you know Spanish.
Yeah. I live. Yeah. Yeah. I live in Florida, in the Miami area. I worked in South. I worked in Miami, and the parking garage. The parking garage attendant that you have to talk to every day to get your car out does not speak English. So, but aside from that, it was amazing to practice with her. But aside from that, I also minor. I had a minor in college in Spanish, and so because I love languages and all that, so it kind of I had the base of it from school, from college, in my mind, and then practicing it tremendously helped. So yes.
Incredible that you're saying that practicing help. Oh, for sure, it does help. But you practice in Miami. It's a city in the state of Florida in the
Yeah.
United States. Travels many times to Miami. There's a big Argentinian community in Miami. I always remember, and this was something that happened to me. I don't know, probably last year or the year before. I was in Walmart. There was this couple, American couple, just I don't know, asking a few questions in the electronics session part of Walmart, and they wanted just to ask the employee something in English, and I swear to God that the employee was not fluent. I mean, he didn't know how to speak English. So he asked for someone else, like, hey, what do they want? But they were just speaking English
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
America. So yeah, it's like English is like a second language
Yes.
in Miami,
I was
right?
just gonna say that. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's I associated a lot with I was around the Cubans, a lot of the Cuban population there in Miami and everything. A lot of the people that I worked with at UI were Cuban, and I love that culture. I love Latin American culture in general, and cultures of different countries. But yeah, it was just such a cool experience to put that together with the minor in Spanish. That I really loved it.
Very good. Spanish is easier. Probably, I think that Spanish is actually the other way around. It's more difficult than English. Basically, we have a lot of verbs, and then you just need just to learn by heart. That is, we have masculine and feminine for each thing. Like in English is the chair, the table, the airplane, or the whatever. In Spanish, you need to know that it's la silla, el agua, and so
Yeah.
forth. And those are things that you just need just to learn by heart. But well,
The tougher things for me was and still is the conjugation. So like the past, like I spoke as hablé, like, and so that aspect of it is tough. Or like the o could be
mhm.
I in in I speak, like yo hablo español, or él habló español is all, what I mean, like with the thing over the O for the
Yes,
past,
yes, yes.
for the past
The
version.
tilde. Juan, now I'm just listening to your accent. You're like much better than. I mean, could we do like maybe in a few months another episode like in Spanish directly?
Podemos tratar.
Me encanta, me encanta. All right,
Yeah, we'll do that.
we're gonna definitely do that. Sure. Yeah. I wanna ask you a few other things first. Recently, I'm pretty sure you. I don't know. You tell me, but you probably just started doing this interviews in the street, which I love, and I think that you're really good. Or this is something that you've been doing for the last 10 years, and I haven't seen those. Tell me that story. How you started it? How do you feel doing them? I
I'm
can
gonna
just
tell
give
you.
you feedback and tell you that they're great, and I suggest you continue doing that. But you tell
Thanks.
me the story.
I will tell you the story right now, and I'm looking at my phone right now because I'm going back to where this idea came up. You asked me how
Hmm.
it came up, and I'm going to see, because it was probably like about 2 months ago, maybe, or so,
Hmm.
where I just messaged my videographer and I said to him, "Hey, let's do." I was like, "I have an idea. I want to do these street interviews style, and then just gonna walk around and talk about taxes." And the videographer was like, "Whatever you want, like that sounds cool." And so, yeah. And so basically, that's how it came up. It came up out of nowhere, just like any other idea that I have. But I thought about it and I was like, this would be really cool, like just something that I feel like would be fun. And I had no intention behind it to do anything with it. But yeah, it was like around June that I thought of the idea. And then it just took about a month to book the time. And then me and him booked the time and we made it happen. But the idea behind it was just walk around and talk to people about random tax stuff, but do it in a fun way. And the cookies came about the day of, when I say, let's get some cookies and give them out, because otherwise people are not going to want to talk to me.
Okay, okay, that's great. One suggestion, or maybe something that you can do, is just go to a place where you know they have really good cookies that you personally like, and
Yeah,
you can say, "Hey, look, I'm doing this. I don't know if you give me. Do you want to sponsor with some cookies?" And I can tell, "Hey, these cookies are from this shop, this other
that's what
on
we
the other
did.
side of the street."
Yes,
That's
that's what we
exactly
did.
what you did.
That's exactly what I did. Yeah, yeah. So I came up to them. So it was, once we decided we were going to do cookies, I walked up to them. We told them what we were going to do, and they're like, you want to do that? Yeah, we're more than happy to. I mean, I still obviously paid. I like to support
Hmm.
the businesses and everything. Happened to also randomly be a fairly new cookie place in the town that I was filming this at. And so they were like, we're new, we're with us. By all means, we'll hook it up. So yeah.
That's incredible. Maybe you can do like each chapter go changing. I like that you're supporting new businesses. Maybe next time you do it with the donuts, or I don't know, something else. But
Yeah.
again, things that you like.
Yeah. As long as I like it, I'm doing it. That was fun, but I think the next thing for me, we're probably going to go to a different place if I do it again, and I think I will go to a different spot, like a different town. Keep changing up towns. Maybe try to get to a town and see if there's a town out there that has more knowledge about like tax stuff. Like it would just be interesting, affluent markets, different times of day. I mean, it's fascinating to me, this kind of stuff. So we'll see.
And also you're really good, seriously. So I think that you definitely need just to maybe travel in all the different states, and then do like I'm doing a ranking of the best food of humans in accounting. You can do like, I don't know, the states that are more knowledgeable about taxes, and you can do something like that. I
That'd
don't
be
know.
cool. Yeah, maybe.
Perfect, great. Yuri, let me ask you, like, what are the plans for the future? I don't know, for the end of for this year, for the next couple of years. What are your plans?
It's a good question. The the underlying plan, much like I told you before, I mean, is to keep doing the things that I enjoy doing. In accounting, especially in public accounting, especially, when you're in the bigger firms, one of the things that is tough to get by is, everybody is so focused on work and the hours and the crazy schedules. And, I mean, accounting is well known for being a challenging profession. I just want to show that you could have fun. It doesn't have to be terrible. It doesn't have to be the stereotypical, feeling that everybody else has about it, that it sucks and you have no free time. So I want to keep showing that, at the same time growing my firm as much as I can, and seeing where that takes me. At that's really it. The underlying thing for me is I will only work with the people that I like to work with, client wise, and continuing to value my time over pretty much anything else.
That's so important, and it's something that it took me a while just to learn. But it's great that you're spreading the word and living the way you. And I think that this is not only, well, definitely more for accounting, but also for other industries. This also happens for other industries. I think it's important. The way that I see life is that we are born, at some point we die. So during this period of time, I mean, just do the things that we enjoy and like, and are happy about.
Yeah. And it's not to say, money is important, right? I mean, everybody will say, like, yes, you want to enjoy, you want to do the things you want to do, but money isn't necessarily evil to do those things, but I always say, not every dollar is worth it. And in accounting, again, I only speak to what I know, which is accounting and building firms and doing that. and people talking about just taking on any and every client because it's money, but they'll wear you down, and so that's how I'm able to protect my time.
Yeah, it's so important. But again, at least for me, it took me some time, and sometimes it's even better just to say, hey, you know what? Maybe we're not the best fit. Maybe you're not the best client for me, and I'm not the best vendor for you. Maybe you can find some other accountant. Hashtag the boring accountant. Maybe it's better for you, sir.
Maybe.
That's great. You don't really need just to take all the businesses.
Yeah,
It's more
100%.
valuable just to be happy on what you're doing. Just to this is a question that I actually enjoy asking. No, I don't really enjoy asking. I just enjoy listening to the answer. That's more accurate or
Fair.
proper English. Uh, when we do the episode in Spanish, I'm gonna be using more precise words.
That's okay. Sounds good.
Tell me or tell us, I don't know, some advice. But I want to go back a few years ago when you decided, or well, when you decided, yeah, just to start your firm. What's a good advice that maybe someone could have given you back then, or what's a good advice that you can give someone that it's right there, just thinking about starting their business, their new firm, having doubts if this is the right timing or not, but at the same time saying yes, but I gotta do this because I always wanted it. What's a good
Yeah,
advice that you can give them?
man. It's a great question.
Yeah,
It's very easy. I ended up doing this out of necessity, out of accident, just like I keep giving this theme here for you, which is that a lot of the stuff that I do is not intentional. After the deal fell apart that I described, that I said that I had the choice of going back to my firm and working there and saying, never mind, or figuring it out. The figuring it out for me was contracting. So I ended up reaching out to a bunch of people, a bunch of firms, and ended up getting a little job, like a contracting job, 20 hours a week, uh, $75 an hour. Then I later on I did a switch and I got $100 an hour. But at $75 an hour, 20 hours a week is $1,500 for the week and $6,000 for the month, and that's 20 hours. So, it was, again, in retrospect, it was probably the best thing I've done because it kept money coming in, good amount of money, while I grew my firm the way I wanted to grow my firm, not just taking on any and everybody, but being selective from day one, something that's very rare. So the answer is contract. If you really want to leave, you want to try out your being on your own, go contract. There's no shame in that. Make, $6,000 a month easily with 20 hours, and the other, whatever you want, 20 hours or 10 hours, just try out different things and see what works to get the ideal customer client that you're going to enjoy working with. And then eventually, as you get more and more and more of that, it took me about a year and a half, and then the contracting couldn't maintain anymore, and so I left that, and it was self-sufficient, the business. That's one. And the other thing I will say is, many people often, wait until this perfect time, or something like that. And so my other advice is, if you think about it, and you're asking yourself, when is the right time that you kind of mentioned, there is no right time. There's never a right time. And so if you feel right, just try it. As long as you have the nest egg of money saved to make sure everything is okay, family's taking care of everybody else, go try it, because there's never going to be a right time.
yes, 50%. I agree with what you said. There is never the ideal time, the perfect time, and you're gonna say no. Then I'll do it tomorrow. Then I'll do it next year. Again, just do it. Then you pivot. You do something else. You just change. But if you never tried it for the first time, uh, um, yeah, that's powerful advice, Jury. Thank you so much. If for some reason, I don't know, the 3 followers that we have here in Humans in Accounting, again, in the future, someone is watching this while they're jogging, while they're doing something, they realize, hey, I really want just to meet Yuri. I want to meet the Fun CPA. What's the best way just to reach out to you?
Best way, I mean, LinkedIn, where you found me, is where I reside. And many of the times. So certainly there, Yuri Kapilovich on LinkedIn, or the fun underline CPA on Instagram. I'm also there all the time. But yeah, that's where I'm at. And so, hopefully my people enjoy the content. That's important to me. And yeah, always available for any questions.
Great, great. I'll make sure just to put all the social media once we publish this
Perfect.
episode. Yuri, it was really nice having you here in Humans in Accounting. Thank you so much.
Igualmente. Mucho placer conocerte. Estoy listo.
Claro que sí. Yuri, un abrazo grande. See you.
Sí, igualmente. Nos vemos.
Adiós.